ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। यप्रव्रजन्तमनपेत अपेतकृत्य द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव। पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवो विनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मनिमानतोऽस्मि। यस्यानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकम् आध्यात्मदीप अतितीर्षतां तमोऽन्धं संसारिणा करुणया पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुपयामि गुरुं मुनीनाम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपाकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरू श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजाता सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादा सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्वसे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्तकांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तव्य। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। गं करोति वाचालं भङ्गं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं नमामि श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। तस्मात्तहं विगतविक्लव ईश्वरस्य सर्वात्मनां हि गृणामि यथा मनीषं नीचो जयो गुणविसर्ग अनप्रविष्ट तोयेत हि प्रमाणः वर्णितेन यं भूतैर्महद्भिर्य इमां पुरा प्रभो निर्माङ्गशेते यदमोषपूरुषः भुङ्क्ते गुणांशोडश षोडशात्मकं स्वलङ्करीशिष्टभगवान् वचांसि तथा हरौ भगवती नृणां भक्तिर्भविष्यति सर्वात्मनि अखिलाधारि इति सङ्कल्पवर्णय। Hare Krishna. So, welcome all
Hare
of
Krishna.
you. Uh,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome back again.
Yeah, so thank you for giving me some opportunity to serve and remember and discuss something about Bhagavatam. So, I think we had met earlier in third canto somewhere. If I'm not sure, maybe 3.1 to 4 or I don't know. Maybe there. Somewhere in third canto we were discussing, I think. So we are into fourth canto, and I congratulate all of you for continuing your journey till fourth canto. As you go ahead, the devotees may reduce, but you don't go away. That is my humble request to you. Be there with Bhagavatam, and it will not be easy because teachers like me will come and still you have to stay, but stay with Bhagavatam. So, and congratulations, whoever is remaining, they are with Krishna in form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So first we'll remember some glories of Bhagavatam, and we are beginning this beautiful chapter on a very auspicious day. So today is the disappearance day of Srila Shivas Thakur, who is none other than Narad Muni, who is the spiritual master of the devotee whose prayers we are going to begin today. Right? That is Dhruva Maharaj. So his beautiful verse is there. He speaks to Srila in this canto only, very beautiful verse, which is a very important instruction for all of us. So I will just recite that verse as a glory of Bhagavatam. So this verse comes in the Puranjan section of Srimad Bhagavatam. Very beautiful verse where the Prachini Varishat is instructed by Narad Muni to go to a place where the Harikatha is spoken and the devotees are relishing that with goosebumps on their bodies and so on. So you go to that place where you will forget all your bodily dharma. So ah, just opening that verse to show you as a prayer to Shivas Thakur, who is none other than Narad Muni. And today, His Holiness Bhakti Brihad Bhagavat Maharaj was telling in Kunj Bihari temple that Narad Muni was a staunch and ideal brahmachari. But in Chaitanya Leela, he transcended his brahmachari life to enter into Vraj pastimes, like that he was mentioning. And he elaborated that. So we remember that Narad Muni and his instruction, which is meant for all of us also, which was given to the so Srila Shivas Thakur ki Jai. So this is the verse which was remembering. तस्मिन् महन्मुखरितः मधुबिच्चरित्र पीयूषशेषसरितः परितैः स्रवन्ति ताये पिबन्ति अवितृषो नृपगाढकर्णैस्तान्न स्पृशन्ति असत्तृणभयशोकमोहः. So you go to such place, my dear Raja, where the great souls, pure devotees who are perfected in their bhakti, from their mouths, nice charitra of Lord Krishna. The rivers are flowing. Madhubit charitra. Piyusha Shesha Saritaha Paritaishravant. And there they are drinking with great attentive ears in their cups, Avitrisho Nupagada Karana. There you go and you will never be affected by the bodily necessities. Tannas prashanti ashana trida bhaya shoka moha. Shoka moha bhaya will go away. Apart along with ashanya and trit means the hunger and the thirst, just as Parikshit also experienced. So this is the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam when recited by person Bhagavat. So that is the glory of Bhagavatam. But here we are trying to do some academic study where all of us are trying to associate with person Bhagavat in form of Srila Prabhupada and the previous Acharyas. So that is the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the best place is both are there together. That is person Bhagavat speaking book Bhagavat. So that is what is this verse. And he is instructing actually after telling the entire, you know, this treatise of allegorical story, at the end he is giving this instruction. This is the last instruction he gave it. So, my dear king, in the place where the pure devotees live, following the rules and regulations, and thus purely conscious and engaged with the great eagerness in hearing and chanting the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In that place, if one gets a chance to hear their constant flow of nectar, which is exactly like the waves of river, one will forget the necessities of life, namely hunger and thirst, and become immune to all kinds of fear, lamentation, and illusion. So that is the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam and the discussion of Bhagavatam. And that is all over the place. Such prayer, such instructions are there and such prayers are there by devotees. So with that reflection, we will see that Dhruva Maharaj also in the prayers which we are discussing, going to begin today, Dhruva Maharaj also has the same aspiration. In the ninth verse, I believe, not ninth, but the 12th verse, he says the same thing. 11th verse. Bhakti moho pravahataam tvai me prasango bhuyadadant mahatam amalashayanam yenanjasa ulbanam urvyasanam bhavabdhim nishye bhavad gunakatham vrtapanamatta. O unlimited Lord, may I always have the association of great devotees with pure hearts who perform bhakti to you. By this association, intoxicated from drinking the nectar of your pastimes and qualities, I shall easily combat the ocean of material existence, full of terrible suffering. So same mood is there, Dhruva Maharaj is praying. Same mood even Prithu Maharaj is praying. Same thing even the Nalkuer Manigriva are praying. Give me the association and vision of your pure devotee. So that is the essence of Bhagavatam actually. Hmm. So the Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya, when we by book Bhagavat, we can understand who is person Bhagavat. And more we hear from person Bhagavat about book Bhagavat, we can understand the book Bhagavat. And the conclusion of book Bhagavat is to completely bathe in the pure glories of such pure devotees. That is what Prahlad Maharaj says, no? That we should bathe. What is that? We should bathe in the dust of the feet of Akinchan Bhaktas. That is the conclusion of all the study, person, book, Bhagavat, and bathe in that. Their glorious Vaishnava qualities. So that is the purpose and the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam. That it gives us such association. And Prabhupada has made it available in English for all of us. He is giving his own association as well as the association of previous acharyas and the characters of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the glorious literature which we are trying to discuss here. And the only qualification for me to speak is the instruction of superiors. Other than there is no qualification. So along with you, I am also going to hear the words of Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharya. Although it may appear that I am trying to speak. So with that reflection, let us begin our discussion of the Canto 4, Chapter 9 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I was thinking first, maybe 10 minutes, we will do some kind of overview in the sense of entire Srimad Bhagavatam is very vast, right? So it's a very vast literature where we can get lost. However, Sukdev Goswami has spoken in a very, very systematic way to take us to the Ashraya Tattva in form of Krishna and Vrindavan. So, with that specs, we'll try to see what has happened till now in the fourth, till the fourth canto. In a very brief way, as you are seeing this verse, that Sukdev Goswami is telling us, Atra sargo visargasya sanam poshanamutayah manvantareshanukatha nirodho muktirashrayah. You are able to see the slide, right?
Yes,
So,
Prabhuji, we
yeah.
are able to see.
So this verse is coming at the end of second canto. It is 10th chapter, where Shukdev Goswami is telling us that this is the way Bhagavatam is. I am going to speak, and this is the way the great soul described. These are the verses. This is 2.10.1 and 2 verses. So this is first verse. Sir, the 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam are told. Actually, there is one topic only, which is the blue Krishna, which we are seeing here. That is Ashraya Tattva. However, that Ashraya Tattva is not accessible, experienceable, and perceivable in our conditioned state through our material body. Just as anybody says, no, what is that? Uh, uh, we cannot perceive, what is that? Verse which says that by the Indriyas we cannot perceive. So that's why the other 9 topics are spoken. Just as a tree is there, the tree is originating from the root. It is coming from the root, it is nourished by the root. And of course, it will go eventually to the place where root exists, right? So that is called Ashraya. That is Krishna. But we cannot see the root externally because the tree is visible, the leaves are visible, the twigs are visible, the fruits are visible, the flowers are visible, everything else is visible. So the Ashraya Tattva is spoken in that way. That's why other 9 topics are there. So that is the next verse, right? Dashamasya Vishuddhyartham Navanam Iha Lakshanam. The actually Bhagavatam topic is only one, that is Ashraya. But to isolate that, to focus on that, or to indicate that Ashraya Tattva, all other 9 topics are spoken. Just as you want to tell the beauty of leaf, and you will tell that actually this leaf is very beautiful, very nice color, very nice shape, very nice design. But all these things is coming from the nourishment from the root. Right? So that way. So like that, these 10 topics are there, and they have different contents which you have seen actually. Like in this slide, you can see that the first 2 cantos of Bhagavatam are actually called as the prelude to Srimad Bhagavatam. Prelude means like Upodghat. Upodghat is introduction and so on. Just as you see Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada wrote introduction, Bhagavatam also. It's like that. So prelude to Bhagavad Gita is first 2 cantos, and they are practically like the the specs in which we should enter into Bhagavad. So it is telling you the Adhikar Tattva, the first canto, who is the qualified hearer and who is the qualified speaker. And we have to become qualified. So 3 conversations of Srimad Bhagavatam. The the lowermost being the Shaunakadi rishis who wanted to go to Swarga, and they gradually heard and they developed attraction for Krishna from Suta Goswami. Then there is Narada Vyasa, and then there is Shukdeva and Parikshit. So Adhikar Tattva. Any Adhikar you have, if you if one hears with faith, with respect and from right source, then he will attain perfection. That is first canto. And more the hearer is spoken and his life is spoken, right? Parikshit's life is spoken elaborate. Second canto is sadhana tattva. So when you enter college, you have to give a entrance exam, then you become adhikari, and you enter the college. But after entering IIT, what you do? You have to study. So what is sadhana tattva? Is second canto is establishing the fact that pure devotional service is the best process for akama sarva kamayo moksha kama udarani. For all kinds of person, it is the best process and the most fastest process and most certain process for everyone. Akama sarva kama moksha kama. So that is what especially characterized by hearing not only uh, Krishna Katha, but hearing Sushti Leela, hearing Avatar Leela, hearing Radha Krishna Leela, hearing Ras Leela, all of that. Kurukshetra Leela, all kinds of hearing. That's what is second canto. And the end chapters of second canto are giving us the specs to enter. And the third canto, which already you discussed, is so third canto onwards, the 10 topics are elaborated as told by Srila Shridhar Swami and Vishwanath. So in sequence, they are like Sarga, Visarga, Sthana, Poshana, etc. So you are seeing in front of you. So Sarga is something which is about primary creation, the elemental creation and universal form, etc. It repetitively comes there to establish certain things. And currently, the fourth canto, it is predominantly going to speak about Visarga. And fifth canto is going to speak about Sthanam and so on. So Poshanam, Oti, Manvantari, Shanukata, Mukti. So 11th is Mukti and 12th is Nirodha. So that way this is spoken by Shukdev Goswami. So this verse is telling that, so Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that Bhagavatam is enlightening, but the purpose of Bhagavatam is not just enlightening. The material world is fully dark, so it acts as Deepa. Deepa is what? It gives you certain context of reality by which you become fearless. So that is like perceiving and understanding two topics, Sarga and Nirodha. Then you will become free from fear. But the purpose of Bhagavatam is not to just make fearless. Hmm? But when one grasps the 9 topics of Bhagavatam, so he grows from general understanding of God to a deeper and specific understanding of God and His nature. So it's like the material world is completely seen in its truth, just as sun arises, right? So that is another analogy given by Srila Sut Goswami, right? So what is that Sut Goswami says? This is Krishna Swadhamaka Gate Dharma Jnanadivis. Kalau Nashta Drishamesha Puranarko Adonod. Ark. Adhyatma Deep Atitirishataam Tamonnam. That is Sukdev Goswami glorification by Sut Goswami. So sun is another analogy. Sun means what? Now you are not just become fearless, but now you are able to move and interact and know how this material world works, what are dharma, kama, moksha, what are pravritti marg, nivritti marg, rules, regulations, so many things. The complete context of the vision and action. But the purpose of Bhagavatam is not just that to enlighten in the material world. No. The greatest purpose of Bhagavatam is Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phala. Right? And that is what the pastimes of Lord, where Lord is interacting with his devotees with great emotions, right? And bhakti. So that's the whole purpose of Shukdev Goswami speaking it. And that is explained in the 10th canto, in the 10th topic. Right? So this is how the Bhagavatam is there. And Bhagavatam, of course, acts as Mohini Murti also. If we approach it in wrong spirit, then it will give us the glances and the things, but not the nectar. Right? So this is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur telling us how the Bhagavatam is systematically spoken. Having said that, as I told you that the third canto now, which rather fourth canto, let us come to that now. What is the main message in the fourth canto? So fourth canto, so before going there, actually Rishi Kumar Prabhu has raised hand in between, but I think he is not there. Okay. Yeah. So as I told you, the first 2 cantos are like the prelude to Bhagavata. It's like door. So Adhikar Tattva and Sadhan Tattva is established properly. And when you enter, you need a specs. So these specs are given in the last 2 chapters of second canto. So ninth chapter of second canto gives Chatushloki, which is the entire content of 18,000 verses of Bhagavad. which tells us Sambandha Abhideya Prayojan very clearly. And the 10th chapter tells us what we are discussing right now. The systematic methodology of Shukdev's presentation of entirety of content of 18,000 verses. That is 10 topics of Bhagavad. And the whole purpose is he is taking us, he is ushering us to the Ashray Tattva. So we have to follow the ushering person, that is Shukdev Goswami and his true followers. So he is giving us this specs through which we should enter into Bhagavad. Otherwise, Bhagavatam stories, one can have millions of lessons and they are good. But purpose is what Shukdev wants us to learn. So that is the purpose. So with that, now the third canto, what was previous canto you learned. So Sarga was told. So what one learns in Sarga is that there are so many pastimes in that where you can understand Hiranyakaksh. The life of greed is completely destructive. Life of greed is destructive for himself and destructive for others. The materialistic viewpoint of this world. I want to enjoy the material world, etc. So this or no, Brahmaji trying to search the Supreme Lord on his own, but he can't, right? So that's the truth. That Lord is involved in every minute action and etc. And path to Vrindavan Lila begins with Srishti Lila understanding. That also is told. But Vrindavan Lila is indicated in the first 4 chapters. They are telling us the true north, the goal of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Uddhava is feeling ecstasy at the beginning only. So that's the goal in separation from Krishna. That is the goal at right in the beginning only it is told. And then all these topics are told. And it ends, if you see, there are 2 kinds of pastimes here. You can see Diti and Kashyapa. So they met at wrong time and they produced 2 children which created havoc. So non-Vedic materialistic lifestyle. However, whereas Kardama and Devahuti were proper Vedic followers and they begot Kapil Muni, and Kapil Muni teaches us very beautiful. So, through this pastime, it appears that Vedic way of life of sacrifice appears to be the solution. Like the Devahuti completely sacrificed her life for Kardama's service, and she also attained perfection. And Varahadev is personification of sacrifice, actually, who killed the Hiranyaksha, who is the mentality of greed. And Hiranyakashipu also was killed by Narsimha. So it appears that Vedic way of life of sacrifice is the solution based on the message of third canto of Sarga. Right? However, we can see that in fourth canto, it is going to tell us that it is not the solution, but it is conducive for the solution. So Manu had 3 daughters, Devahuti, Akuti, Prasuti. So Devahuti's descendants you heard, and Akuti, Prasuti began in the fourth canto. And then fifth canto has Manu's 2 sons. So Sarga and Visarga they explained begin from 3.8. So Vedic way of life appears to be solution. But fourth canto opens our eyes that Vedic way of life is conducive as a tool, but not the goal or solution. So what you see in fourth canto, that Vedic way of life is life of culture. There are sacrifices, there are rituals, and there are so many gods which are worshipped. There are rules and regulations. So they are very good, but they are good as goal. They are good as tool, not but goal. So it is not grossly exploitative, but it is subtly exploitative. I will enjoy by following the Vedic way. This is Vedic materialism, and you can see all throughout the fourth canto, such incidences are there. You have seen one already, right? That is what? Which one you saw? The person who is wonderful follower of Vedic
Guruji,
sacrifice.
Daksha?
Yes, Daksha Prajapati. So we can see the problem in the only Vedic sacrifice without bhakti. Right? So that's the point which is trying to be communicated here. So there are hidden problems in Vedic way of life. Without bhakti, we are talking about. Because one becomes attached and it can invoke all these things. So this is what is there in fourth canto. There is conflict right in the Daksha Sabha, public. This is the most dangerous Sabha which has happened in the history, which which the effects are till now experienced. There is competition, Indra is going to steal the horses, 100 sacrifice. There is conceit and cheating, there is envy, there is pride, disrespect, offenses, insecurity, all these things you will see in fourth canto. Hmm. So basically, what is there in fourth canto? First you saw.
Prabhuji, Haribol,
Yes, Prabhu.
is it that we can ask something now or we'll ask later?
Actually, I'll finish one thing which I am wanting to say, then we can.
Yes. Sorry to disturb.
No problem. So we began with Atri Muni. So that is the first and foremost. You can see the blur understanding of absolute truth was there even in the great sage Atri Muni. Hmm? While saying this, I am trying to not offend him because very great personality. But still, he was not very clear about the absolute truth. He had a blurred understanding of absolute truth. That is the problem of the many gods thing. And then you have Daksha Sabha, which already you discussed. Shri Guru Prabhu nicely discussed, 2 to 7, where Shiva wants Sati, who quits her body, and Daksha got killed. Then demigods prayed to Shiva, then restoration of Yajna happened. So many things happened. Right? And now we are discussing about Dhruva Maharaj, 4 to 9, 8 to 12. And then there is Prithu Maharaj, 13 to 23. Anga Maharaj, and then last portion, Prachetas, and the Prachini Parishad. So what is there? There are subtle problems and challenges in Vedic way of life, which is devoid, if it is devoid of bhakti, right? So you can see this. This is what is there in fourth canto. So blurred and confused understanding of absolute truth, Atrimani. Uncertainty of result and difficulty to perform sacrifice. Anga Maharaj is not getting son, so he does sacrifice, but he gets opposite son. We tried to train him, but he has to leave his house actually. Prachini Barishat, so many sacrifices. Dhruva Prathu performs so many sacrifices, but still problem. It makes one attached to material life. So there is conflict, competition, so many insult. Daksha insulting Shiva, Sati disobeys Shiva and criticizes Daksha, Uttanapad neglecting Dhruva, that you saw in the previous chapter. And then Indra Putho, which you will see. So it all creates offenses and hypocritical activities. Right? So this is the problem which is taught in the fourth canto. Because it is refuting, because Bhagavatam is a commentary on Vedanta Sutra. So it is also very systematically refuting one thing and establishing the right thing in the sixth canto, the pure analytic devotional service. So Karma Mimamsa philosophy is that one, that Vedic way of life. So that is what is uh, the essential message of fourth canto. And now we are going to zoom into the Dhruva Maharaj section today onwards. So in case there are some quick things, it can be discussed. Yeah, yes, Prabhu, I saw your hand up and I just asked, but that time somehow you were not there. Something.
Oh, acha. Then
Yeah.
because there is some network issue, so maybe
Yeah,
I
yeah.
might have.
Yes, Prabhu.
So this Bhagavatam, when we say there are 10 matters in that Sthanam portion, you mentioned in that. So certainly some cantos are prominently speaking about one theme.
Yes.
But it is necessary that one pastime may be concentrated only on one theme, or there may be a prominence of these things, and other things may also be there as a secondary aspect.
Okay. So that is your comment, right? So you are
No,
very
my
correct.
question is it correct? His understanding is correct.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it correct?
Actually, see, Jiva Goswami says that all topics are there in all cantos. Okay. But there is a predominance in particular
That's
canto.
what I wanted to know. Yeah,
There
correct.
is
I
a
understood.
predominance.
Yes.
So predominance has to be also seen because the speaker has spoken with predominance. That's why Sridhar Swami and Jiva Goswami are saying that this canto is speaking about Visarga. They begin in the very first verse commentary. So we have to put that specs also. So that way we remain aligned with the author. So that is what is the. So what you are saying is true. So let us begin now into the section which we are going to start. That is the ninth chapter. So having heard about Atri Muni's story and the Daksha Sabha and everything, the Dakshas, and then the previous chapter you saw eighth chapter also, no? Right? Eighth chapter also. So Dhruva Maharaj story has already begun. So now we are into ninth chapter. So Daksha Sabha is already happened, and the eighth chapter, what was told in brief is these two lines, as told by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti. He says that in eighth chapter, Dhruva burned by the poison of stepmother's words and inspired by the nectar of the mother's words. Right? So nice way of putting. Burned by the poison of stepmother's words and inspired by the nectar of mother's words, Suruchi's words. Pleases the Lord by austerities in Madhuvan. And in bracket you can say by Narada's instruction and association. So this is what you saw in the previous chapter. It's a brilliant chapter. So there actually His Holiness Haldar Swami Maharaj had recently come. So he was telling a very striking thing which is still ringing in my mind. That is actually Suruchi is representing the ideal consciousness of a guide or a counselor or Shiksha Guru. That she increases faith of Dhruva. She doesn't criticize Suruchi. So what Haldar Maharaj said that we have to take that verse which is spoken by Suruchi and put on our neck as the guides and mentors and the preachers, right? So people like Dhruva will come to us. Then we should not criticize the previous guides or whatever person is disturbed. But the way Suruchi acted is very, very profound actually. So that's what you learn, and that verse is nothing but that verse where she says that what is that? Do not, oh son, do not find fault in others, because those who have given suffering to others previously received the same thing in this life. So that verse, I think he said. So that's what you have seen, that Dhruva Maharaj has pleased the Supreme Lord by doing austerities according to Narada Muni's instructions, and Narada has tested him and he came out well. So that's how the Maharaj was saying that Suruchi was perfect Shiksha Guru who directed him to Diksha Guru, who was Narada, and he did the Guru Mukha Padma Vakya and he attained the Supreme Lord. So now in this chapter the further story is told. So what is that? So let us see the ninth chapter. There is something called Karika, which is written by Acharyas, so like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So chapter 9, Dhruva Maharaj returns home. So Haristutir Vara Praptihi Swanutapo Gruhagamaha Bandhubhir Milanam Rajyam Dhruvasya Navame Abhavat. Yeah. Someone can read the translation which is there, Guru. Anyone? Yes, sir. Go ahead. Yes.
Rishi Kumar Prabhu can start or somebody else?
And please start very quickly. Okay, Saji Sundari Mataji, you can.
In the ninth chapter, Dhruva, after praising the Lord and receiving benedictions out of remorse, returns home, meets his family, and received the kingdom.
Yeah. So Navame Abhavat means in the ninth chapter, these all things happen. What all things happen? Harir Stutihi Varha Prapti. So Hari Stuti is happening from 6 to 70, which is the best portion of this chapter in the sense of the 12 verses are like 12 Adityas, which are enlightening the absolute truth. That is called Haristuti. And 1 to 5 are the setting the scene of that Haristuti. How the Dhruva and the Lord, they saw each other, and how Lord entered into his heart, and and then came out and gave darshan, etc. That is first 5 verses. And 6 to 17 are the Haristuti. Then Varaprapti. Haristuti means the prayers offered by, the praise offered by Dhruva Maharaj after being empowered by the conscience. Varaprapti. He got the benediction. That is from 18 to 25 of this. These are the verse numbers, the sections of this chapter. And after he got benediction, Swanutapo. He was greatly repenting that what I was desiring, I was desiring something material. I was desiring the broken pieces of glass, but I got time, and so on. So he was Swa Anutap, Griha Gamaha. So he returned home. So that portion is told in 26 to 35. Right? And then what happened is Bandhubhir Milanam. He met Uttama, and he met even Suniti, right? So he was completely purified. So there was no negativity in both of them. Because of the glorious pure devotional heart of Dhruva, there was no negativity remaining in him, neither in Suniti and neither Uttama. So Bandhubhir Milanam, Rajyam Dhruvasya. So he got Rajya also to be ruled because Lord instructed him. So he received kingdom. Navame Abhavat. So this is all described in the last section, 36 to 67. So it's a quite big chapter where the focus is the stuti, and other things are also elaborated. But stuti is something which is very glorified by all the acharyas, commented very nicely. So that's the breakup of this chapter. So we'll try to see today Krishnavali. We'll complete the first 5 verses plus some verses of the prayers. Maybe some verses. Let us see how much you got. And then we go ahead. So this is the breakup, and this is the essence of this chapter as given by Srila Vishwanath Prabhupada. So let us go to the first section, Haristuti. So the background scene of Haristuti is told in first 5 verses. So text 1. Maitreya Uvacha Ta evamutsannabhaya vrukrame krutavanaamaha prayayustrivishtapam sahasrashirshapi tato gurutmata madhurvanam dhrutyadrikshayagataha. Yeah. Continue, Mataji. Maybe few verses you can read.
Yes. The great sage Maitreya told Vidura, when the demigods were thus reassured by the personality of Godhead, they were freed from all fears, and after offering their obeisances, they returned to their heavenly planets. Then the Lord, who is non different from the Sahasra Shirsha incarnation, got on the back of Garuda, who carried him to the Madhuvan forest to see his servant Dhruva.
So, previous chapter you saw the whole thing, that how the Dhruva's power of austerity, there was complete lack of oxygen in all over the world, all over 14 worlds. So demigods approached Lord, and Lord told them that, okay, I will do the needful. My devotee is doing. So that is the power of practice of one personality. So, tam eva, that's what is told by Sukadeva Goswami in the beginning of this chapter. Being freed of all fears. How? So who? Utsanna bhaya. So they become completely fearless. Right? Why? Urukrame kritavananah. Urukrame means by hearing the Supreme Lord, whose actions are uncommon. So they offered respects to the Lord. And they went. Prayayuhu Trivishtapam. They went to the heavenly planets, their place. And what Lord will? Sahastra Shirshapi Tato Gurutmata. So they went to back, and the Supreme Lord, who is called as Sahastra Shirsha, who is also here, he is called as Garbhodakshayi Vishnu also, and he is also called as Prishni Garbha. Right? The Prishni Garbha is the incarnation which gave darshan to Dhruva Maharaj. So actually, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu is the source of all incarnations in the material world. That's what is told in the first canto, third chapter. Jagruhe Paurusham Rupam, etc. So that's Sahastra Shirsha. And Tato Gurutmata, Madhor Vritya Dikshayage. So he sat on Garuda. Gurutmata is Garuda. Going on the back of Garuda, he went to Madhuvan. He went to Vrindavan. The forest known as Madhuvan, where the austerities were performed as per instruction of Narada Muni. Vritya Didrikshaya. So he went to he went to see his servant. So that's what this verse is speaking. Prabhupada speaks about this verse. Sahastra Shirsha. So, and same thing you can see. It's not different from Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. And he is specific also. Specific means he is a Prishni Garbha. So that is told by Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Sanatana Goswami reveals that. He created the planet known as Dhruva Loka for habitation of Dhruva Maharaj. So he is telling further things, story also. So that is, so let us go to text 2. Savai dhiya yoga vipaka tivraya padma koshe spuritam tadit prabham tirohitam sahasaivo alaksha bahisthitam tava avadastham dadarsha. Yes, Mataji, continue.
The form of the Lord, which was brilliant like lightning, and in which Dhruva Maharaj, in his mature yogic process, was fully absorbed in meditation, all of a sudden disappeared. Thus, Dhruva was perturbed and his meditation broke. But as soon as he opened his eyes, he saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally present, just as he had been seeing the Lord in his heart.
Yeah. So Savai Dhiya. So Sa Dadarsha. So he saw. So what he saw, earlier he was seeing the meditating on the Lord as instructed by Narada, right? So now Lord went there and gave darshan in his heart. Why he gave darshan? Because yoga vipaka tivraya. Dhiya. So he had reached the uh, perfection, like yoga vipaka tivraya, you can see here, mature realization of yogic process. So Rit Padma Koshe Spuritam. So Lord went and manifested him within his heart. Right? Because he was very tivra. How much tivra whole world was affected by that tivrata. But he was completely absorbed. So Lord came and manifested himself in his heart. So this Spurti is happening. So that is the difference actually. Earlier he was meditating and now Lord is actually giving Spurti inside the heart. And what did he do? Tadit Prabham. It's like lightning. Means what? It will go. Lightning comes and it goes. Tirohitam. Again he, all of Sahasa. Sahasa Tirohitam. Again he removed his form. So because of that, he was agitated or disturbed. Like you can say, actually there is no word of agitation or disturbance, but it is understood. That's why it is there in the Dhruva was perturbed and his meditation broke. So that's why he opened his eyes and he, observing that the Lord has unmanifested himself. So he opened his eyes and then he saw. Bahisthitam tadavastham dadarsh. He was able to see that Supreme Lord which he saw within his heart and which he earlier meditated on. So that's what is happening here, this particular verse. Yeah. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that he began to lament like a person who has lost his treasure, since he had seen the Lord near him. Right? So that's how, like a treasure lost or great wealth is lost, how much atur one will be. So that's how his samadhi was broken. So as soon as samadhi is broken, he opened his eyes. Shukdev Goswami's samadhi was also broken like that. And even the samadhi of Shaubri Muni or Vishwamitra Muni's samadhi was also broken, right? But there were different reasons and different consequences of the breaking of samadhi of that. But here the samadhi is broken, the better result is there. That Lord is coming in front of him. Something like Narada Muni, Narada boy seeing, right? Similar, but here Lord is showing himself, there Lord speaks. Right? So that's the only difference. Both are 5-year-old children. So Prabhupada writes about who can see Premanjana Bhakti Vilochanena. Person who has developed love. So that goes to show that Dhruva Maharaj has attained a higher level of consciousness. That's why he is able to see the Supreme Lord in a right spirit. Because so many people saw, Duryodhana also saw that. So this Shyam Sundar form of the Lord within the heart of devotee is not imaginary. When the devotee becomes mature in his prosecution of devotional service, he sees face to face same Shyam Sundar he has thought of during the entire course of his devotional service. Since Supreme Lord is absolute, the form within his heart of a devotee, the form in the temple and the original form in Vaikuntha, Vrindavan Dham are all same. They are all non-different from one another. So now you see how Prabhupada is a Vrajvasi. So he is not talking about Prishni Garbha form, but he is talking about Sham Sundar form, which he is seeing in his heart. Right? So, and he is with great conviction, he is speaking that this is seen by every devotee after maturity in his devotional service. He sees face to face Sham Sundar, which he has thought of during entire course of his devotional service. So this is something which we should be very much aspiring for while practicing our Krishna consciousness. That we want to see the Supreme Lord as Sham Sundar. So this kind of thought comes everywhere in Bhagavad Gita. Any verse you see of Ananya Bhakti, this feeling is there. Like any verse can someone say of Ananya Bhakti in Bhagavad Gita? Shuddha Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti, or constant Bhakti. Any verse someone can quote? Any verse? And yes, anyone wants to say some verse? And I request all devotees to give their darshan to other devotees so that they are encouraged and inspired. Yes, yes, Prabhu. Anyone wants to say some verse of Ananya Bhakti in Bhagavad Gita?
Guruji, just
Yeah, say one word, any word. Everyone will remember. Or
मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्करो मामे वैश्यस्य युक्त व आत्मानं मत्परायणः.
yeah, correct. That 934. That is also instruction, or that comes to us in Bhagavad Gita. But specifically Ananya Bhakti. Yes, Shobha Lakshmi Mataji.
अनन्यश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहामि.
Sadhu, sadhu. Yes, that is one verse. So there, what Prabhupada is saying here is he has thought of during entire course of his devotional service. So this is told in the word in this verse. No, Ananya. What you said? Ananya Chintayanto Mam, right? Which verse you said, Mataji? Can you say that?
Yes, Guruji, same verse. अनन्यश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते.
ये जना परिउपासते तेषाम नित्य अभियुक्तानाम. So this nitya abhiyukta means this, that person is engaged in bhakti with the desire to attain Krishna, Sham Sundar Krishna. Nitya abhiyukta, nitya abhiyukta. So same thing comes so many places. Tesham, now Prabhupada will quote this verse in the few purports later. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvak. So satata yuktanam means this, what Prabhupada is telling. that when we are trying to practice bhakti, we should think that I will attain Sham Sundar and his service. I would like to see his darshan. So that's the mood. That's what Prabhupada is saying. And such person, upon maturity, he will see Sham Sundar in his heart, face to face, like that. So text 3. तद्दर्शनेनागतसाध्वसचिता वन्दताङ्गविनिमय्यदण्डवत् त्रिभ्यां प्रपश्यन् प्रपिबिन्नवार्भकस् चुम्बिस्निवास्येन भुजैरिवाश्लिषन्. Yeah, last verse for you, Madhu. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. When Dhruva Maharaj saw his lord just in front of him, he was greatly agitated and offered him obeisances and respect. He fell flat before him like a rod and became absorbed in love of Godhead. Dhruva Maharaj, in ecstasy, looked upon the Lord as if he were drinking the Lord with his eyes, kissing the lotus feet of the Lord with his mouth, and embracing the Lord with his arms.
Yeah. So that's what is his experience here. So here Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Tad darshanena, darshan, because of his vision of the Supreme Lord, agata sadhvaso, means what? Jata ananda sambrama. He experienced so much of pleasure or bliss, what Prabhupada is saying. See, Jatananda Sambrama. So there was confusion, but that confusion is out of great experience of happiness. That's what is being said here by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti. Jata Ananda Sambramaha or Jata Sambramaha. So because of his bliss. So what he saw, because of seeing Dirbhan Mukhara Vinda Madhuryam. So he was seeing the beautiful face of Supreme Lord and he was drinking his beauty. Propiban eva means like drinking by his eyes his beauty. It's a propassion. Asid. And then what is second thing? His charnarvinda madhuryam chumbaniva avandata. So he was as if kissing the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and experiencing the sweetness of his lotus feet. That's why he offered obeisances. And then Bhujabhyam Ashlishyaniva Charananguli Shikaran Pasparsha. So by touching the lotus feet of the Lord, he is as if trying to embrace the lotus feet of Lord with his arms. So this is how Eva means what? His experience was very high, like drinking or kissing or embracing. However, he did what? He saw and he offered obeisances and he touched his lotus feet. So that's what is being explained in this verse. Bahuvachanena, so bhujoho means both. So you can see that photo is actually almost like touching the Lord's lotus feet. So actually there are only two bhujas, right? So bhujayoho should be there. But here what is the there? Bhujair is there. So what is the difference? So actually everyone has two hands only. And in Sanskrit there is singular gender, there is dual and there is anekvachan. So there should be two hands, right? So why it is anekvachan? Because of pleasure was so much. So that's the indication by the word. So that's how Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining all these things. What was his experience? That's how Shukdev Goswami is explaining us that as if he was embracing, as if he was kissing, and as if he was drinking. Right? So that was his confusion, which is arising from his experience of bliss. So actually, when Brahmaji also saw the Supreme Lord after he was meditating, after coming out from the lotus in the third canto beginning part, but what he was meditating and what he saw is completely shocking for him. It was like he says that I was thinking I saw you in my meditation, but actual seeing is completely different. It's like, you are seeing your favorite deity's photo, and it's like you actually go in front of them and seeing them, right? We can at least, and our level, we can have this difference, right? Seeing the photo of the deity, and then that favorite deity, you go and see them actually. So there is a difference in them, right? So that kind of difference is being experienced here by Dhruva Maharaj. So that's what is told here. So Prabhupada also says, all these features of Dhruva Maharaj bodily expression indicate that upon seeing the Lord face to face, he developed 8 kinds of transcendental ecstasy in his body. Ashta Sattvic Vikar. So that's what happened. So the devotee's love is so much that he wants to kiss the lotus feet of Lord, he wants to touch the tips of toes of Lord and constantly embrace. So Prabhupada is also indicating. So text 4. Satam vivakshantamatad hari ज्ञात्वास्य सर्वस्य अवस्थितः कृताञ्जलि ब्रह्ममयेन कम्मुना अस्पर्शबालं कृपया कपोले. Yeah, now maybe Rishikumar, can you read 3 verses?
Yes, bro, I'll do that. Thank you.
Yes.
Translation purport by His Divine Grace C.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Although Dhruva Maharaj was a small boy, he wanted to offer prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in suitable language. But because he was inexperienced, he could not adjust himself immediately. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, being situated in everyone's heart, could understand Dhruva Maharaj's awkward position. Out of his causeless mercy, he touched his conchal to the forehead of Dhruva Maharaj, who stood before him with folded hands.
Yeah. So Satam Vivakshantam Atatvidam Harir. So Vivakshantam means he wanted to offer some praise or gratitude. That is Vivakshantam. But Atadvidam, he was just 5 years old. He didn't knew how to glorify the Supreme Lord in choicest words. So the Supreme Lord saw that, and he understood that he wants to praise me. He is experiencing something great and he wants to say something, but he doesn't have words to say. Jnatva asya. He knew his condition and aspiration. So he was there in his heart. Sarvasya cha hridhi avastitaha. So that Hari Jnatva. So what Lord understood his aspiration, and then what he did? Brahmamayena kambuna spasparsha. He touched his head with the Brahmamayena kambuna, the conchal which is having all the Vedic conclusions. To whom with great mercy, Pasparsha, Balam Kripaya Kapole, on the forehead of the 5-year-old boy, Dhruva Maharaj, who was in humble Kritanjali. He was there like this. So this is what is this verse is telling. So he was Atadvita, Vivakshantam, Tad Guna Vaktum Ichchatam. He wanted to glorify his qualities. But he was Atadvidam. He didn't knew the Sanskrit and Vyakran. And it was not possible for him. So Lord understood and Lord empowered him, glorified. So Prabhupada takes this one important point of no one can glorify the Lord properly unless he is empowered by the Supreme Lord. So many people glorify so many things in this world. Actually, the whole world, everyone is either glorifying or criticizing. That's what actually Bhagavatam says. What is that? Shvavidvaraha oshtrakarai samstutah purushah pashu nayat karna kathopete jatu namakadagrajaha. So Bhagavatam's sarcasm at the best. It is telling that those people who don't hear about Hari, they praise people who are these people who have never heard the glories of the Supreme Lord. And they are like these four things: Shwa, Vid, Varaha, Oshtra, and Khara. Hmm. So many people are doing so many stutis, but the Lord's stuti can be done only by a person who is blessed and bestowed mercy upon the Supreme Lord. Hmm. Otherwise, actually, there is no question of praising the Supreme Lord. Hmm. Because Supreme Lord cannot be praised sufficiently by anyone in this creation. Hmm. The Sahastra Shirsha is constantly praising from the beginning of creation, but he is not reached the end. Hmm. So sometimes even the glorification can become a not glorification if we don't know clearly. Hmm. Right? So here Dhruva Maharaj is not like that. So once I think one of the devotees who was from IIT, he went to some village area to give some session. And the village person was not knowing much about IIT, ITI and all that. So he introduced him like he is from ITI. So actually, so village person was ignorant about IIT and ITI. There was no difference for him. But that is not the glorification in true sense. Right? The person who knows what is IIT, he will understand, "Arey, this is a problem." Hmm. So actually, there is some level of understanding required to actually properly glorify a person. What to speak of a Supreme Lord? Hmm. So only by mercy of Supreme Lord one can glorify. And that mercy comes through, in this case, by touching of the forehead. Hmm. So that's the major point here, which Prabhupada says that every devotee wants to chant the transcendental qualities of the Lord. So this is the devotee's desire. Kirtaniya Sadahari. He doesn't want to do anything else other than Kirtaniya Sadahari. So this is the prerogative, this is the consciousness of a pure devotee. Devotees are always interested in hearing about the Lord's transcendental qualities, and they are always eager to glorify these qualities. But sometimes they feel inconvenienced by the humbleness. So that is the consciousness of. They always want to glorify. They want to see, not just glorify. Many times person is very eager to glorify, but the same person is eager to hear also. Right? So that's what is the true sadhu is, according to Bhagavatam. What is that? Shunvanti Gayan, no, not that verse, where it says, no, that those who are thoroughly honest, they want to hear or speak or uh, chant. No, that verse says, Prabhupada says there that a true sadhu wants, if there is hearer, he will speak the glories of Lord. If there is a speaker, he will hear the glories of Lord. If there is no speaker or no hearer, he will gungunate. Gungunana means what you say in English? He will recite verses for himself.
Humming,
Humming, maybe. Yeah. So that's the way he is doing. Shunvanti, Gayanti, Grinanti, Avikshanash. Smaranti, Nandanti, Tave Hitam Jan. Taiva Pashyanti Achirena Tavakam, Bhava Pravaham, Paramam Padamujam. That verse, it is written. Kunti Maharani says that. Shunvanti. Grinanti means what? Gungunate. Param Puja Radhagun Maharaj says. So that's how they are eager to do that. So here the Lord, being in heart, specifically gives a devotee intelligence to describe it. It is therefore understood that when a devotee writes or speaks about the Supreme Lord, his words are dictated by the Lord from within. So that is what is Srila Prabhupada, while writing his books, there is an incident where I think great devotee Srila Tamal Krishna Maharaj might be was saying to a reporter that Prabhupada said, I didn't write the books. Krishna wrote the books. But the reporter could not understand. Then Tamal Krishna Maharaj kind of clarified that actually Lord inspired him from within and he wrote the books. And then Prabhupada stopped him and told that, who said to you that? I didn't write. Krishna wrote the books. So that is their conviction. And the Dindi has gone today, right? The Tukaram Maharaj also wrote Abhangas. They were all dictated by Lord Vitthal. So that is what Prabhupada is saying. This transcendental inspiration is called Brahmamaya. Because when one is thus inspired, the sound he produces exactly corresponds to sound vibration of Vedas. So this is a testimony of uh, the inspiration. The transcendental inspiration matches with Shastra. That person cannot speak anything apart from Shastra because he never speaks. He always repeats the words of previous Acharya. So there are so many people who may glorify, but here is the testimony that their words are strictly according to Shastra. Although they might not have read the Shastra also. Like Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj was like that. So, because it's transcendental inspiration, that's why Siddhanta Saraswati would go and fall at his feet for initiation. And he himself was so scholarly, but uh, he was not like that. Right? So that is what is, this is the symptom of transcendental inspiration. And this word comes in the next actually. Next words Prabhupada is bringing the mood. That it is Parijñata Paratma Nirnaya. It's completely giving conclusions of all the scriptures. So that is the symptom of transcendental inspiration. So which inspiration we are writing or glorifying can be easily understood by this, that whatever transcendental inspiration is it there in the Shastra? So that is what is the point which Prabhupada is making. This is not the ordinary sound vibration of material world. Therefore, the sound vibration of Hare Krishna mantra, although presented in the ordinary alphabet, should not be taken as mundane or material. So very interestingly, Prabhupada in his purports always switches from Harinam to Harikatha and Harikatha to Harinam. Right? So many verses you will see that the verse is speaking about Harikatha and Prabhupada writes about Harinam. The verse is speaking about Harinam, Prabhupada writes about Harikatha. So same thing he is doing here. So Hare Golokir Prem Dhan Harinam Sankirtan. That's what he is writing. So that is a transcendental sound. So that's how he ends this. So when Dhruva Maharaj felt hesitant, not knowing how to describe the Lord for want of sufficient experience, the Lord, out of his causeless mercy, touched his conscience to Dhruva's forehead, and he was transcendentally inspired. So this is what is actually the goal of our practice. That one day we want to be transcendentally inspired. And Srila Prabhupada says that this transcendental inspiration is very tangible by executing heartily the order of the spiritual master. It becomes very tangible. So Srila Prabhupada writes in this 1.60 about this transcendental inspiration. Right? So this 1 text 60. So this verse is Satam Prasangat Mama Virya Samvidu Bhavantiritkarna Rasayana Katha Tajoshanatashvapavargavartman Shaddharatir Bhaktiranukramishati. So you are seeing this verse, Kapil Shiksha's essence. But see the purport of this verse. This transcendental inspiration, Prabhupada writes here very beautifully in his purport. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu, can you read this portion? As one devotee advances. Yes, Rishi Kumar, you are reading. Please read this.
Yes, Prabhuji. Should I read this?
Highlighted portion, can you read?
Yes, Prabhu. As one advances in devotional activities, the process becomes progressively clearer and more encouraging. Unless one gets his spiritual encouragement by following the instruction of the spiritual master, it is not possible to make advance. Therefore, one's development of a taste for executing this instruction is the test of one's devotional service. Initially, one must develop confidence by hearing the signs of devotion from a qualified spiritual master. Thus, as he associates with devotees and tries to adopt the means instructed by the spiritual master in his own life, his givings and other obstacles are vanquished by execution of devotional service.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. So that transcendental inspiration, here Prabhupada is saying, unless one gets spiritual encouragement by following the instruction of spiritual master, it is not possible to make advance. And that is our test of bhakti. Right? So this is spiritual encouragement, which transcendental inspiration Prabhupada is saying. Right? So this Dhruva Maharaj exactly did this, right? He very strictly adhered to the order of Narada, and he was transcendentally inspired. So this is the most practical thing we can do in our life to get this inspiration. Otherwise, we require so many other sorts of encouragements in our Krishna consciousness, which can be very external and gross, and which are good, but this is what Prabhupada is indicating here. So going further, text 5. Savai tadaiva pratipaditam giram daivim parijñata paratma nirnayah tam bhakti bhavo bhagranat satvaram parishrutorushrvasam dhruvakshipihi. Yes, bro, continue. Two more words. Translation. Or maybe someone else can read now.
At that time,
Yes,
Dhruva
Sachin.
Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj became perfectly aware of the Vedic conclusion and understood the absolute truth and his relationship with all living entities in accordance with the line of devotional service to the Supreme Lord, whose fame is widespread, who in the future would receive a planet which would never be annihilated, even during the time of dissolution, offered his deliberate and conclusive prayer.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So his speech is being explained here. Savai tadaiva pratipaditam giram daivim parijñata paratma nirnaya. So his giram are his words. They were what? Pratipaditam means they were given by the Supreme Lord. Prapya. So they were awarded by the Supreme Lord. Bhagavata pratipaditam gira. That is tadaiva pratipaditam means Bhagavata eva. Lord only gave him the words. And they were what? Transcendental. Daivim. Daivim gira. And what was the content? It was parijñata paratma nirnaya. So parijñata parat nirnaya means the proper clear difference between Lord and the living entity. Parijñatah paramatmanor ishvara jivayor nirnayo yena sah. Means he was very clear about this difference between jiva and the Bhagavan and Paramatma. Atma, Paramatma difference. Very clear. And it is conclusively given the truths about it. So that's what is the content and the source and the quality of his words. And what he did, tam bhakti bhavo abhyagranat asattva. So with great bhakti bhav, he spoke. Abhyagranat means he expressed, he spoke the words. And although he was 5-year-old boy, we have to be, actually this verse is giving us an indication that don't think that he's 5-year-old boy. Asattvaram means what? He was not hasty. He was very steadily speaking those words. Like small children may not be so, they will be restless, but he was not like that. He was very steady. Asattvaram. And he was not, like Vishwanath says, Bhakti eva natu sankhya yogadishu bhavo abhiprayah swabhavo yasya sah. So he was in the bhakti bhav, pure unalloyed devotion, in almost perfected state. He was His swabha was not because of Sankhya or yoga, which he performed yoga, right? He performed meditation. But complete bhakti bhav, he expressed those words. And what were the words about? Parishruto, Urushravasam. So this is Supreme Lord's adjective. Parishruto means very famously sung everywhere or heard about. Parishruto. Pari, Parishruto Shravanam Vikhyata Bahu Yashasam, who is very, very famous all over the world. Urushravasam. He can be glorified. So he spoke about this Lord. And Dhruva. So Dhruva is that which was awarded to such 5-year-old boy, which is a eternal award actually. It is a part of Supreme Lord's abode only. Shwetadeep only Lord had given him. So Maitreya Muni only speaking here, right? Yeah. Maitreya Muni is clarifying to us that now I am going to tell you the words of 5-year-old boy, but take them very seriously because this is what is the quality of his words. Right? They are empowered by the Lord. They are giving the conclusive understanding of absolute truth. They are transcendental words. They are spoken in right spirit of pure bhakti. And such person is glorifying the most worthy of glorification of that Supreme Lord. Purushravasa. And he awarded him Dhruvakshuti. So that was the quality of his words. So please take those words seriously. That kind of indication is there here by Maitreya Muni. Although he's 5-year-old boy, so his words are very deep. So Prabhupada in his purport elaborates one word in this. So he begins by saying there are many important words in this items to be considered in this verse. Right? So Paratma Nirnaya, that is the first paragraph about. So Prabhupada punches to the Mayavadis that they have wrong understanding of Atma and Paramatma. So that was not there in him. Although he didn't go to the school, he had complete knowledge of absolute truth. Why? Because of mercy of Lord. So that principle he tells first. Dhruva Maharaj never went to any school or academic teacher to learn, but because of his devotional service to Lord, as soon as the Lord appeared and touched his forehead with his conscience, automatically the entire Vedic conclusion was revealed to him. So this is Pratipaditam Gira. Right? That is the process of understanding Vedic literature. One cannot understand it simply by academic learning. The Vedas indicate that only to one who has unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord as well as the spiritual master is the Vedic conclusion revealed. Yasya deve parabhaktir yatha deve tatha guru. Tasyaite kathitahi artha prakashante mahatma. So that is the qualification of getting revelation of Vedic scriptures, not to speak of Bhakti scriptures. Right? So the main thing is having Mahad Buddhi towards the Guru. That's what is the point. The same faith as good as God to Guru. So that kind of faith, unflinching faith, undoubting faith, or the trust on the. So that's what Narada tested that trust, right? And then instructed. So the example of Dhruva Maharaj is that he engaged himself in devotional service to the Lord according to order of his spiritual master, Narada. As a result of his rendering such devotional service with great determination and austerity. So this is another thing. So the faith on the instruction is reflected in the execution with determination and tapasya of the instruction. The personality of God had personally manifested himself before him. So Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chittete Kariya. So this is what Prabhupada also did. 40 years he was trying actually in India. And then we see after that what happened. So with great determination and austerity. So that's what is. So actually the unflinching faith, when we say faith, we have faith actually translates So there is unflinching faith within, and without it translates as Sharanagati. So Sharanagati means one is doing whatever is told him to do by the spiritual master. Right? So when we say spiritual master, then spiritual master will instruct us to be somewhere and we practice devotional service there in that association of devotees. So then that area becomes the area of execution of his instruction. Right? So that's what is Sharanagati is the practical, tangible manifestation of internal faith on Hari, Guru and Vaishnava. So that's what is the process of understanding Vedic literature. So the Shastriya Shraddha or revelation of Vedic literature is not by study alone. It is by serving spiritual master. So that is the point. And why we study? So because spiritual master tells us to study, Prabhupada tells us to study. Right? That's why we study. And to study to execute the order of Prabhupada and the spiritual master. So person Bhagavat will help us understand book Bhagavat, and book Bhagavat will help us understand person Bhagavat more. So that's the whole process of understanding and execution. The conclusion is, so like that then he tells what is transcendental inspiration. So that's what this already we discussed. So Uru Shravasam, the only prayers worth offering are those offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose reputation is spread far and wide. And then Asatvaram. Dhruva Maharaj attained the perfection not by acting hastily, but patiently executing order of Guru. So Asatvaram has both meanings. He was steadily following instructions, and when he spoke also it was not like hasty speech. It was very deep. And therefore he became so successful that he saw Lord face to face. So to glorify, this is a very amazing statement. To glorify or offer prayers unto Supreme Lord, one needs the Lord's mercy. One cannot write to glorify the Lord unless one is endowed with his causeless mercy. So we see this principle in all the writers of great literature like Kaviraj Goswami, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Prabhupada. Prabhupada was also instructive. So that's what. Otherwise, actually, the whole intention of writer is to glorify the Supreme Lord and other Vaishnavas. So you can see that in Kaviraj Goswami's literature. So there is no tinge of feeling of one's own glorification in that. Right? So that's why Kaviraj Goswami is glorifying some other author who has written on the same topic. So that is their greatness, that they have received such causeless mercy from Radha Govind. He received the garland, and Vaishnavas told him to write. Right? So all this, then he wrote. Not that okay, I got some inspiration, I wrote. That can be written, but this is the process of writing, the glorification of the Supreme Lord. So that's the.
So, Prabhuji, is that why we only pray as per the Vaishnava Acharyas? We don't independently pray, right?
Actually, it's not like that. Here, Prabhupada is saying both things actually, offering prayers and glorification, right? So, you are specifically speaking about prayers. So, prayers, Srila Rupa Goswami says there are two types. So, one is what you said, that is notable prayers which are there by our acharyas, and they are the best one to repeat and try to go in the same mode. Or by repeating, we can go. However, there is Vigyapti also. Vignapti is another form of prayer where one is expressing his heart as it is. So, so that prayer is not that is also Anga of Bhakti, right? So there is nothing inappropriate in that expressing one's heart. That because what is there in your heart or it you may not get in Acharya's prayer set, let us say, then he should not stop. He can express. So, what point Prabhupada is making here, as per what I decipher, is that if he is writing, he is saying that these are my prayers and he's telling others to recite or something like that. It's like it is going on the level of publication and writing. But when it comes to day-to-day prayers, there is Vigyapti is entreaty proof to be exact. So entreaty means you submit what is happening within you. So that kind of prayers are beautiful, as Rup Goswami says. So here the context is little different. So this is understanding proof. Does that you have something to say, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you.
So now, see, now sixth verse is the Sandhi verse, not Sandhi, rather sixth verse onwards, the prayers are beginning. So see how the great acharyas are glorifying the prayers. So Sridhar Swami is writing a shloka to glorify his prayers. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is also writing. Ishanugraha Samprapta, having completely received the mercy of the Supreme Lord, Vagadi Adbhuta Vrittivihi. So here is how he got mercy, in what form he got mercy. Vagadi Adbhuta Vrittivihi. He got very astonishing inclinations of his speech and adi. Adi means what? All other, his eyes, his nose, his sense of touch, and all that. He got adbhut vritti, means inclinations. Very astonishing inclinations he got, especially for vak. So, Dwadashaditya Sankashaihi Shlokar Astaud Harim Dhruva. So Dhruva Maharaj, Astaud means he praised Lord Hari. Harim Astaud. How he praised in 12 shlokas like 12 suns, like 12 Adityas, which will reveal the truth. Sankashay, as if like, Sankashay is like 12 Adityas. The 12 verses are like 12 Adityas, Prabhus. So how amazing are those verses which are going to tell the truth of absolute truth and bhakti and everything. Astaut. So this is how Sridhar Swami is glorifying right in the outset. So let us, with prayers to Dhruva Maharaj, that we try to understand what he is saying here by mercy of the Supreme Lord. So we can begin. And Bhagavatam actually is the most confidential part of Bhagavatam is the prayers of Bhagavatam, right? So we discussed that verse 2.10.1. The 2.10.2 is what? Dashamasya Vishuddhartham Navanam Iha Lakshanam. So all the 9 subject matters are indicating the 10th subject matter. That's the only purpose of their existence. The first 9 cantos are existing for the sake of glorifying Krishna. So what is the next line? Dashamasya Vishuddhartham Namanamiha Lakshanam. Varnayanti Mahatmanaha. The great souls describe this Bhagavatam. Shrutena Arthena Chanyasa. So two ways they describe Bhagavatam. Shrutena and Arthena. So these two words, Arthena means through stories and allegorical stories. The conclusion is Ashraya Tattva. Right? So many stories. But Shrutena is more important. What is Shrutena? Is by praises, the direct evidence. Direct evidence of Ashraya Tattva means right now, Dhruva Maharaj is standing in front of the Supreme Lord, who is Ashraya Tattva. So he is right away giving us the experience. That is called Shrutena. So this is the most confidential part of Srimad Bhagavatam. All the prayers of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why prayers are very, very important. Although sometimes they appear repetitive, they glorify the Lord, you are creator, maintainer, destroyer, etc. But there are great emotions involved there. So that's what we are now entering into this Dwadashaditya Shanakay Shlokai. So we pray to Dhruva Maharaj, who is 5-year-old boy that time. So let us begin the prayers. Dhruva Uvacha योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसूप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादि प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्.
Dhruva Maharaj said, "My dear Lord, you are all powerful. After entering within me, you have enlivened all my sleeping senses, my hands, legs, ears, taste sensation, life force, and especially my power of speech. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you."
Yeah. So this is the very first and very amazing verse, which is depicting his astonishment. What Siddhar Swami was saying, that Adbhuta Vrittivihi. So he became very astonished. And what has happened? And he could immediately decipher that this is mercy of the Supreme. He has given me this Sakshad Anubhavam. Tamev kripamev Sakshat Anubhavam iti Vismayena Namasyati Ya iti. That's what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying. So what is happening here? Akasmadeva स्वीय वागादि सर्वेन्द्रियाणाम भगवत उन्मुखी भावम alaksh. So what he saw when the conch shell was touched, so he got astonished. How all my senses have become inclined to the Supreme Lord, Bhagavat Unmukhi Bhavan. And how it happened? Suddenly it has happened. Akasmat. So that's why he immediately deciphered this is all because of Lord's mercy. Tam kripameva sakasha anubhavam. So with that astonishment, he is offering respects to the Supreme Lord. Namaste. Right? So there is Purushaya. What is that? Namo Bhagavate Purushayata. So he is offering respects to the Supreme Lord, who has greatly astonished him by giving that experience of his sweetness and the inclinations. So actually, this whole verse is telling, these and next verse are telling that how the inclination towards the Supreme Lord of our senses depends on the mercy of the Supreme Lord. So, param drishtva nivartate, what is told in Bhagavad Gita, is only by the mercy of Lord. So that's what he is saying, this verse and the next verse. So, he say, akasmat bhagavati unmukhi bhavan alaksha esam idrusham aprakrutatvam Shri Bhagavad Kritamiti. So he felt, this is, my senses have become spiritual. They are spiritualized. So this is Lord has only done. Iti janan swasmin bhagavato nirupanam nirupadhikyam tasya kripameva sakasha anubhavamiti vismayana namasya. So this is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying here. You can see here he is saying all these things, what I just now explained here. So Bhagavad Datta. So this is the verse of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur telling us about the 12 verses. Bhagavad Datta Vedartha Jnanas Tushtava Yad Dhruva. So Dhruva satisfied the Lord by Lord only given the conclusion of Vedas to him. Vedartho hi sa eveti natra samsherate buddha. So intelligent person should not doubt the meanings of these verses because they are giving the conclusions. That's what actually Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying here in this verse. If you are seeing down, the meaning is there in front of you. So he has made my senses spiritualized. So actually, the Bhakti Devi, by mercy of Lord, spiritualizes the senses. That's the whole Siddhanta here. And how it does, so that word is Swadhamna. So now you see the verse. So now Dhruva Uvacha, Lord Dhruva is saying, Yo Antaha Pravishya. So now, my dear Lord, you are there in front of me, but you are only have entered me. Mama Vacham, this Vani, my Vani, he is saying. And imam means what? This imam means you show something, right? So that goes to show that the same Vani is changed now. Imam means what? This one. It is not that Lord has replaced the tongue, right? It's like, it is not that there was one tongue earlier which was material tongue and Lord removed that and gave him spiritual tongue. No, it's not like that. This very tongue has transformed into spiritualized. It has become spiritualized and devotionally inclined towards you. So Imam means this. This, which was what? This Vacham, Imam Vacham, which was Prasuptam. Earlier it was sleeping, means what? It was trying to enjoy the material things of this world. But now it was like dead. Sleeping means what? It was like dead. Prasupta. Now you have given its life. Sanjeevati. You have given Sanjeevati. How you have done that? Because you are Akhila Shakti Dhara. You have millions of energies through which you work. Although you are standing in front of me, you have empowered me. By which energy of that? Swadhamna. You are the greatest of your energy, the internal energy, which the the most important function of that internal energy is the mercy to the devotee. That is Swadhamna. By the Swadhamna, by the internal potency, you have empowered by entering into me and you have awakened the inclinations towards you. Earlier, those inclinations were for material enjoyment. And I am not seeing that. I am not seeing only Vak. Anyascha. All others also. Hasta, my hands, my legs, Charana, my ears, my twak, my sense of touch. Adi means other remaining things also. And even pranas, my pranas. So you have spiritualized my entire body. So actually it is said, I don't know where, but Rupa Goswami, that when Lord is seen by the devotee, that time all his senses become like one sense and relish the beauty of Lord. So that kind of experience is there with Dhruva. And then he is offering his gratitude. That my dear Lord, Namo, I offer obeisances to you, O Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam. Tubhyam means you are there in front of me right now. And you are only the Purusha. You are only Bhagavan. And I offer my respects to you out of gratitude. That you have done this. I have no credit in this. So that's what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining, which I just now said to you. Right? So here one more indication you can see is that he is telling the Lord that my dear Lord, please put end to my material senses inclinations. Right? He is saying that please make them sleep. So you can see here what Vishwanath Chakravarti says. From now on, you should put to sleep or destroy that power of speech which was awake in describing the material enjoyment of eating and drinking. So that's the indication. Prasuptam means that was sleeping. Now you have awakened, but keep it awake. Don't again let it sleep. So that's what is his indication. So you have done it. So that's what is. So he is offering respect with astonishment. So this is the Siddhanta. This means that Dhruva's senses had all suddenly became spiritualized. This is understood since the two words Mama and Imam modify the speech and other senses, indicating that the same senses have changed. This is our hope, Prabhus, that our same senses are like Prabhupada says, you put the iron rod in fire, it becomes fire. So same senses change. The body becomes completely spiritualized. So that's what is the Siddhanta. So Bhakti Devi does that actually. So Bhakti Devi completely spiritualizes the senses. So this Siddhanta is very nicely given by Kapil Muni in his third canto, 25th chapter. In the verse where he says that the the bhakti is such an amazing process, it's like fire of digestion. So it burns the unwanted things, right? And it keeps the appropriate things which nourishes the body, right? So that's the glory of bhakti. You can see that here I'm showing. This is that verse 3.25.33. Jarayati ashvya kosham nigirana amaloit. So the fire of digestion, what it does when we are engaged in pure unalloyed devotional service, what it does, having no alternative for nourishing the body, the fire of digestion destroys only useless portion of eaten food, but nourishes the life hairs, etc. By this, body gains strength. Similarly, bhakti destroys only the bad portions of material aspects of sound and other sense objects, the material senses and the material sense devatas. It does not destroy the good portions of sound or other sense objects and natural senses which are related to Lord. So that's the glory of bhakti, pure bhakti. So it creates the right inclinations and tastes and destroys the wrong inclinations and tastes. That's what is being experienced here by Dhruva Maharaj. So Prabhupada elaborates this point very clearly that Dhruva Maharaj could understand my earlier condition and now condition, right? So he could understand and he offered is sleeping. Unless one is spiritually situated, all his activities are taken as dead man. So Jiva Jago, Prabhupada writes, Uttishta Uttishta Prapta Varan Nibodhata, etc. So, so he could understand essence of all Vedic instruction. And Prabhupada punches on the Mayavadis that the Supreme Lord is a Purusha. Purushaya Tubhyam. Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam. Not that he is impersonal. So he could fully understand his Purusha. Prabhupada is punching on them. And they were sleeping. Now there is impetus is there. He could immediately understand this, that it was because of causeless mercy of Lord. And this is because of Swadhamna, due to internal potency of Lord. So that all I described, same thing Prabhupada is writing. This spiritual energy acts when living entity fully surrenders and accepts his position as eternal servitor. So this is something which is the practical application. Sharanagati. So Shraddha and Sharanagati. And not just Sharanagati, fully surrendering and accepting his position. So it's a process of surrender. Actually, initiation is not an event which people wait for, and one should wait. But initiation is a process of surrender where the 6 symptoms manifest. So that's what Prabhupada is saying. One accepts. Then the spiritual energy starts acting through the Sharanagat Bhakta, whom we have surrendered. Then one becomes Sevanmukh, etc. This process of purifying the senses and engaging them in service of Lord is known as bhakti. In the beginning, the senses are engaged by the direction of spiritual master. And after realization, when senses are purified, the engagement continues. Means what? That becomes the Vaidhi becomes Raganuga actually. Something like that only Prabhupada is saying. The difference is that the beginning, the senses are engaged in mechanical way, but after realization, they are engaged in spiritual understanding. So this is the purpose of engagement. So having said that, now Lord may say to him that actually Dhruva Maharaj, the voice or the Vak is empowered by Agni Dev, not me. I am different than Agni Dev. Nanu Vag Indriya Shakti Dhara Vanya Adaya Prasiddha Na Ahamityaha. I am not. Everyone knows that voice is empowered by Agni Dev, right? But he says, no, my lord, Agni Dev is also empowered by you only. That you entering as Adi Yakya. So Adi Daiva. Adi Daiva are the devatas who are empowering our senses by which we are seeing. Because of sun god we are seeing. But Adi Daiva has Adi Yagya. Adi Yagya are you, my lord. That's what he's telling in the next verse. Yukastvameva bhagavanidamaatmashakya मायाख्ययारुगुणया महदाद्यशेषम् सृष्टानुविश्य पुरुषस्तदसद्गुणेषु नानेवदारुषु विभावसु वयद्विभासि. Someone else can read now? Anyone else want to volunteer?
Roja, I can read.
Yes.
My Lord, you are the Supreme One, but by your different energies, you operate differently in the spiritual and material worlds. You create the total energy of the material world by your external potency, and after creation, you enter within the material world as a super soul. You are the Supreme Person, and through the temporary modes of material nature, you create varieties of manifestations, just as fire entering into wood of different
Yes, sorry. Ah,
shapes, of wood of different shapes, burns brilliantly in different varieties.
yeah. So, Prabhupada, actually, in translation only his purport is there so that we can fully grasp. So, the objection I told that he's saying actually Agnidev empowers. He says, no, my lord, ekas tvameva. You are the one who is empowering and enlivening everyone, including Agnideva's senses also. What to speak of my vak? Even Agnideva's vak, you only empower. Actually. Because in this material world, everything is jada. And you are the one who makes it alive. Chetayasi. So you, how you do that? By entering into it. So ekas tvameva. You eva means what? Only you. Not you also along with Agni. No, only you. Bhagavan Adi Idam Atma Shakya. Bhagavan Idam means this material world. You can see Idam. Atma Shaktya, by your own energy. But which energy? Previous verse also spoke about one energy. That was internal energy. But this is external energy. So Atma Shaktya, which energy? Maya Khaya, which is called Maya. And this Maya is Mahamaya. And previous verse was Yoga Maya. Maya Khaya. Urugunaya, she is full of three modes. Right? Or many varieties, many senses. Guna also means senses, and which is composed of Mahad Adi Shesham, the 24 elements. That's what my body is made up of, right? And even Agni the body also. So, how you are empowering? See, this is your Shakti, which is external Shakti, right? But you enter into that, that is dead. But Sushtanu Vishya, Purushas Tadasad Guneshu. So Asad Guneshu means you enter the dead matter in form of the objects and the senses, and the sense objects also. And you make them alive. Sushtava Anuvish. So you enter and you make them alive. Purush. Asad Guneshu make it you Chetayasi. You. So that's why I'm saying, my dear Lord, you only are doing this, not anyone else. So then one may say that, oh, how it is appearing with so much variety? It is like fire. So the same fire goes into different kinds of woods, appears differently. The red fire, the little bluish fire, the greenish fire, right? Depending on the wood, it manifests differently. But you make the whole world alive. So it's you, my Lord, who have given me Vak, not Agni, and through your external energy. So that's the meaning here. So here the final meaning is given by Vishwanath Chakravarti and Prabhupada. So you can see in front of you. So what he says is, my dear Lord, you enter Anupravishya Purusho. How you enter? In form of Antaryami. And in that external energy, so Antaryami has to do with material world only. So Asad Guneshu. So the Indriyeshu. Asad Guneshu means all the senses. Chetayitum means he makes alive. Like fire. Fire is there in so many. So this is two Siddhantas. Means what? For devotees, what Lord does? Teneva tvad bhaktanam indriyani tvad prasadat tvameva vashikurvanti. So you only control the senses of your devotees by your mercy. Tvan mayani aprakrtani eva bhayanti. So that's why they become spiritualized. And what about non-devotees? Annesham tu tani mayameva vashikurvanti maya mayani evat. So their senses remain controlled under the external energy, and that's how they experience external energy. Hmm. So that's the Siddhanta here given. So that's how in two verses he is very clearly telling the functions of two energies of the Lord, and they are empowering. When we say Rishikesh, this is the meaning which Dhruva Maharaj is giving us. So senses of your devotees by your mercy focus on you and become spiritual. So the focus and all comes by his Lord's intervention through internal energy. And senses of others, however, focus on Maya alone, they become only material senses. So that's how the conclusion. So Prabhupada gives this conclusion at the end of the purport, Swadhamna and Maya. The two words indicate this conclusion. So you see, quickly. So Lord acts, Akhila Shakti Dhara. So acts through different energies. He is not void, he is Purusha, he has Shakti. So Shakti, Shaktiman, not impersonal. So Prabhupada always punches for to Mayavadis. So this energy is spiritual, but it acts in material world. So Mahamaya is the expansion of Yoga Maya. That also Siddhanta is there. But for the devotees, the Lord, see, very nice. In other words, for everyone but the devotees, Lord's energy acts as external energy. So in one line, Prabhupada has given that Siddhanta. The energy cannot be separated from energetic. And how do the Lord does? Through feature of Paramatma. So the Bhagwan remains separate, which has come in front of him. That is not Paramatma, that is Bhagwan. Paramatma enters. So he is admitted. This truth also he has admitted. And then, so it enters material bodies. And just as fire, so there is varieties of people have varieties of inclinations. So the original energy inspires a devotee and thus engages all his bodily limbs in the service of Lord. So we should mark the difference between Maya and Swadhama. For the devotees, Swadhama acts, whereas in case of non-devotees, Maya energy acts. Right? So that's the verse. So just now it's already 4:33. Just 2 minutes. Next verse we'll read the translation because the flow is connected. The details we'll discuss. So now if Lord takes an objection that Abhicha kim vaktavyam vanya adayo jnanadi shakti dhara na bhavana iti. So even you say Agni Dev, but the knowledge is given to Agni Dev by whom? You only. So even if you say Agni Dev, but Agni Dev is given knowledge by you only because Brahmaji is given knowledge by you. So that is what is the next verse. You have only empowered everything. So Tvattattaya vayunayem idamachashta vishwam supta prabhuddha ivanatha bhavat prapannah tasyapavarga sharanam tava padamoolam vismaryate kritavida kathamartha bandhu. Yeah, please read the translation.
O my master, Lord Brahma, is fully surrendered unto you. In the beginning, you gave him knowledge, and thus he could see and understand the entire universe, just as a person awakens from sleep and visualizes his immediate duties. You are the only shelter of all persons who desire liberation, and you are the friend of all who are distressed. How therefore can a learned person who has perfect knowledge ever forget you?
So here he is saying that, my dear Lord, you are Akhila Shaktidhara. So he is explaining further that even Brahmaji who was surrendered to you, you have given him empowerment. So you are given empowerment, only the devotees can see the world as it is. Right? So Tvad Vayunaya Jnanena Idam Ish. Achashta. Achashta means they see the material world, right? So Brahmaji was there initially, he could not see anything. Then he started seeing and then he did service. Hmm? So the devotee understands that you are doing everything. So, and how you show them, just like a woken up person can see things. Like that, you you show, like prasuptam, the first word. So anyone who is woken up by you, who is surrendered to you, like these people, Brahma, Kumaras, or there are Gyan Mishra Bhaktas. How can a person who knows the favor you have given him even forget your lotus feet? No? How is it possible? Because we know that who woke us up? You only woke us up. That's why we could see the material world through spiritual master and others. So that's how can one not become grateful? So that's the verse. So actually it's already over time, 4:36. So we pause here and continue tomorrow on these prayers. So thank you all very much. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. It was very enlightening with many, many references from other places. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
In case anyone has any question, clarification, they may stay back or want to proceed for anything, happily you can proceed also.
So can we discuss tomorrow if you don't mind?
Yes, Prabhu.
We'll discuss tomorrow, Prabhu.
Tomorrow means now both options you have.
Okay. So
Tomorrow also, this whatever your choice, Prabhu. If anyone else has anything else to say now, they can say now also. You have something, Prabhu? Rishi Kumar, Prabhu?
yeah, I wanted to ask that when you are saying that the Lord is controlling the senses of the devotees. So, but the independence of the devotee is still there with him, right?
What is that? Their devotee with him? What is it?
Independence of the devotee is still there, right?
Yeah, correct.
So how do we understand the
Little,
meaning?
little independence is there.
How do we understand the meaning that the senses are being controlled by the Lord? How to understand this? I want to understand it in a better way.
Yes, so what I understood from Dhruva Maharaja's case is the Lord is controlling means he becomes Bhagavad Unmukh. See, the senses become attracted to the Supreme Lord. So that happens by Lord. So
Okay, okay.
that is what is told by Acharya. Just showing that part. You are able to see this thing here. Yeah, see. Hare Krishna, can you please mute?
Oh, sorry, sir.
Okay, I forgot the name.
This
Mataji.
was second was Manjari actually, small one.
Yeah, Manjiri. Yeah. So you see these words, Akasmad eva sviya vagadi sarvendriyana bhagvat unmukhi bhavam alakshe. So this bhagvat unmukta is done by the Supreme Lord. So that is the way. But in that, how a devotee wants to serve, that is not controlled.
No, that's the point. I remember few years before I asked this related question to Ramanand Prabhu, who was taking our Bhakti Shastri. So that time he just told his same pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. So I told him, Prabhuji, is it like that Dhruva Maharaj gave him the Shankha and then he was enlightened? Because in the previous it is mentioned that he was astunned as to what to speak. And then afterwards he got the blessing of the Lord and started speaking. I said, is it not that Lord is giving him the energy that okay, now you speak about me. So what is the credit of Dhruva in that case? So the Prabhuji explained very nicely. I'm just remembering this thing now as you told. That Lord is giving the empowerment. He is giving probably the words also, but the mood is still of Dhruva only.
Yes, that's what. He did only the direction of the sense. Bhagavad Unmukh kar diya.
The mood is still the mood of a devotee. That mood that devotee will have still.
Yeah, and
whatever he
actually, see, words also, why not Lord can give the words? See, Prabhupada said the same thing, right? Tamal Krishna Maharaj was objecting that actually Krishna inspired him to write. But what Prabhupada said? I didn't write, Krishna wrote.
True.
So words also can be given by Lord. But the point is that even if words are given by the Lord, the devotee becomes more grateful to the Lord, right? So that's the glory, that's the meaning of becoming an instrument actually. If one's own word is there and mood is given by the Lord, these are two different things. So words, mood,
Accept.
words, these are all details, but yes. True.
So even
Thank
for
you.
that, Prabhuji, ye yathamam
Reminding of
prapadyante is
Ramanand
required.
Prabhu, who is such a wonderful Vaishnava. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, we learned many things from him, Prabhu. We are so
Yes,
grateful.
same here. That's why I'm happy to remember him. We are rare to meet him now. In Mayapur also, I didn't meet him from last many years. So he was very wonderful.
So,
Yes,
Prabhuji, one comment was that this cannot happen with any and everybody. Lord will control the senses based on our surrender, isn't it? So, ye yathamam prapadyante. So that
yes,
controlling of the senses is actually interaction of love between the devotee and the Lord.
yes, yes. So
So
what
that
you
is how
mean
it
to
is.
say means it is only for Sadhya Bhaktas, like that you are saying.
No, not only for Sadhya Bhaktas. So to the extent we surrender, the Lord is also inspiring us and helping us to, control our senses more and more.
Exactly. And not control, actually, engage. We are
Engage, yes.
too much into sense control. Actually, we should forget that we don't want to control senses. We want to
We want to
engage.
engage. Yes.
And
So Lord controlling our senses means engaging our senses.
yes. And with proper, actually, this sense control means what I am trying to say here is because sometimes we say that this is only for sadhya bhaktas. No, that's why I showed that verse, right? Jarayati Ashuya Kosham Nigirna Analoyatha. So the third canto, 25th chapter, 33rd verse. So that goes to show that as soon as you start eating, you start experiencing, right? So the spiritualization begins in the day one. And as you said correctly, the ye yathamam prapadyante. That much you have surrendered, that much senses are spiritualized. So that is the analogy. So your senses are also spiritualized, Prabhuji, for so much of practice. So there is no doubt about it. And not your, every one of us is trying to practice Krishna consciousness from whatever way. So Krishna has purified. He has burnt certain portion of our wrong tastes. So, so this is the prerogative. This is the effect of practice of pure devotional service. It acts like digestive fire. Right? So yes, Prabhu, that's perfect. Yes, Yashika Mataji, you have something to say? Yes, please go ahead.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम
Hello.
प्रभु जी एक्चुअली आई हैव अ क्वेश्चन जब एक्चुअली हमने जब सेकंड वर्स की जो लास्ट 3-4 लाइंस पढ़ी ना तो मेरे ब्रेन में मतलब ये क्वेश्चन स्ट्राइक किया थोड़ा सा एक्चुअली प्रभु जी
Segment.
क्या है कि ना मैं दो टेम्पल्स में मतलब सेवा करती हूँ एक है इस्कॉन पंजाबी बाग जहाँ के डीटीज हैं मतलब राधा राधिका रमन जी और जो सेकंड टेम्पल है वो है इस्कॉन रोहिणी वहाँ पे डीटीज है राधा माधव एंड वहाँ पे पंच तत्व भी हैं मतलब इंडिया में और सीधा मायापुर के बाद ना वहीं पे ही हैं मतलब पंच
Yeah,
तत्व
very rare. Very
हाँ
rare thing is there.
वेरी रेयर
So the
तो
Gopal
प्रभु जी
Krishna Maharaja's desire was there.
यस लास्ट मतलब टेम्पल जो उन्होंने वो किया था
Yes.
तो प्रभु जी एक्चुअली क्या होता है कि मतलब जो इमोशंस ना राधा राधिका रमन जी ना बहुत क्यूट से डिटीज हैं मतलब वो बहुत छोटे से हैं तो ना शुरू से उन्हीं को ही देखा है मतलब तो जब हम सेवा कर रहे होते हैं एक्चुअली जब रोहिणी वाले टेम्पल में सेवा कर रहे होते हैं तो जो इमोशंस है वो राधा राधिका रमन जी के लिए ही जो पहले आते थे ना क्योंकि इतने टाइम ना उन्हीं के लिए ही सेवा करी है मतलब तो उन्हीं के लिए ही आ रहे होते हैं मतलब और राधा माधव के लिए ना ज्यादा फील नहीं हो रहा होता कि वो बड़े से डीटीज है और मतलब क्यूट से डीटीज के लिए ही मतलब इमोशंस आ रहे होते हैं मतलब तो प्रभु जी ऐसा क्यों है मतलब उनके लिए बहुत ज्यादा अटैचमेंट है और वो जो बड़े डीटीज हैं उनके लिए ज्यादा मतलब
ये क्या
अट्रैक्शन नहीं
बहुत
आता
अच्छा है। इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या है? सब बढ़िया तो है। So now you are experiencing separation from the Radha. What you said? Punjabi Bag Radha Raman.
राधा राधे राधा राधिका रामन
Radha Radhika Raman deities. So now you are feeling their separation, and you are with Radha Madhav, which is another form of them only. So there is nothing. It's all wonderful. Very nice. So
और
what is
प्रभु
the
जी एक्चुअली
question?
जी कार्तिक से पहले ना क्या हुआ मतलब इट्स अ ड्रीम एक्चुअली उसमें क्या हुआ कि ना मतलब जो राधा राधिका रमन जी थे ना वो एकदम से बड़े हो गए मतलब और वो राधा माधव में कन्वर्ट हो गए मतलब तो आई गॉट दिस ड्रीम, और उसके बाद मतलब मेरी सेवा जो थी वो राधा राधिका रमन जी के वहां से चली गई, और फिर राधा माधव की सेवा आ गई मतलब।
हरी बोल तो
तो
हो गया आपका, अभी तो काम भी हो
तो
गया।
फिर मतलब फिर बट तो फिर वही है, बट वहां से थोड़ा मतलब फिर वो सेपरेशन मतलब ज्यादा, तो ये
तो बहुत अच्छा है ये सब चीज, कंटिन्यू करो बस। बहुत अच्छा है। So, see, this is what the deities are so tangible, right? When we serve the deities, tangible means you are experiencing. So, uh, actually, I really appreciate because I have not done much deity service. Recently, I got second initiation. So, for me, the deities are just for offering prayers only. That's all. So, there is not much connection, but it's very nice to hear that this thing is there. And sure enough, Mataji, this kind of feelings are there in great souls also. Like many devotees, like now recently here Sarvabhaum Prabhu had come. So his worshipable deities are Radha Shyam Sundar from Vrindavan. So even if here also he will sing their names. Or if you see Param Puja Haldar Swami Maharaj when he will come, so he will sing his worshipable deities' names. Because when you say the name, you remember the form, right? And everything. So that feeling is very good and it can be nourished, and of course now you are here, so whatever pleases your guru, you should do service wherever it is. So with that feeling, with the Radha Radhika Atman. So that's wonderful, very nice. So deity worship is very tangible service and it has great potency. It's a five potent forms, right? So it's very nice, very wonderful experience. Thank you. Anything else? Anyone else has what we discussed today? About what we discussed? Okay, fine. I think Mataji is traveling somewhere. This is in train, Mataji, Shiromani Radhika Mataji. Train or bus or something.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, yes. This train.
This is train, huh? But quite range is quite okay, I think. Even in train. At
Yes,
least.
yes, yes, yes.
uh, Thank you very much. In spite of traveling.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Jai. Santara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj Narad Muni ki jai.